Hi, boys and girls. It's Miss Harling. I'm finally on. I'm going to give you tonight's homework. I'm going to do some of the problems with you, and then the rest you will do on your own. So today is Tuesday, October 6, 2020. This is tonight's homework. You should be on page 65. I'll zoom in, make sure you're on page 65. And then at the top, it should say practice and homework lesson 1.10. Ms. Harling kind of colored that in, but it should say lesson 1.10. Now, at the top, it also says use place value to subtract. This is just like the work we did this afternoon for Mrs. Graham's class and what we did this morning in my class. You're going to estimate and then find the difference. Number one, I'll zoom in. They started it for you. They just did not put the answer in. So we're going to finish it. They said in the ones place, 9 is larger than 5. More on the floor, go next door and get 10 more. If you can't see that, they made a 7, so I'm going to go over it. And then they also, because they took 10 away, this 5 became a 15, if you can't see it. So now let's finish it. 15 minus 9 is 6. 7 minus 1 is 6. And 5 minus 1 is 4. The answer is 466, and they said that is close to 500 if you round it to the nearest 100. All right, let's see. I'm going to do a few more at the top, and then I'm going to move on and do some other questions. All right, let's see. I'm going to do, let's do number 7. Okay. Again, it says to estimate. We look at each place value and we decide more on the floor, go next door and get 10 more. Numbers are the same. 0 is the game. Or more on top, no need to stop. Well, here in the ones place, we have more on the floor, so we go next door. The 2 becomes a 1. The 6 now becomes a 5. Or no, Ms. Harling's doing that wrong. The 6 becomes a 16 because we added 10 to it. I'm sorry. 16 minus 8 is 8. Then we have to fix the tens place. There's a 4 on the bottom and a 1 on the top. So again, more on the floor. Go next door and get 10 more. The 7 becomes a 6. I borrowed 10. I put it with 1, and now I have 11. 11 minus 4 is 7, and 6 minus 1 is 5. Now, if I'm going too fast, you know what to do. You can pause the video, and then you can fill in what you need to fill in, and then hit play again so you're back to where you need to be. All right, I'll do one more in this area, and then I'm going to move on. Let's see. I'll do number 3. So go up to number 3, please, and we'll do that one. Again, there's more on the floor, so I have to go next door and get 10 more. My 5 becomes a 4 because I borrowed 10, and now my 1 becomes an 11 because I'm putting 10 with 1, which makes 11. 11 minus 6 is 5. In the tens place, more on the floor, so I got to go next door and get 10 more because 7 is larger than 4. So I'm going to cross out the 6, make a 5. I borrowed a 10. I'm going to put it with 4, so now I have 14. 14 minus 7 is 7, and 5 minus 3 is 2. And I forgot to do one thing. I forgot to round these to the nearest 100. So 275. I look at I look at the 7 to see what to do to the 2. 7 is a high number, so I'm rounding up to 300. So 275 is closer to 300. And then underneath it, I forgot to do it for number 7, 578. Again, there's a 7 in the tens place, but now that's going to help me to know what to do to the 5. 7 is a high number, so I'm not going to stay at 500. 578 is closer to 600. All right, this is the same thing we did today in math, so you shouldn't have any problem. We practiced. We did a whole bunch of problems. All right, now I'm going to go to the middle of the page, And I'm either going to do 9 or 10. Let's see. Which one would I like to do? Okay, let's do number 10, and you guys can do 9. All right, here's number 10. There were 625 ears of corn and 247 tomatoes sold at a farm stand. How many more ears of corn were sold than tomatoes? Please underline how many more. We talked about that today. When you see those three words, it means to subtract. You should know that because we're already subtracting on this homework. But sometimes you'll see problems and you won't know whether or not you have to add or subtract to get the answer. Well, these three words are a clue that you must subtract. So 625 ears of corn, 247 tomatoes. How many more ears of corn were there than tomatoes? So we're going to take 625 and put that on top. It's the larger number. And 247 goes underneath it. This is the corn. This is the tomatoes. We just want to know exactly how much corn there is than tomatoes. So in the ones place, let me zoom in a little bit. There's more on the floor, so I have to go next door and get 10 more because 7 is larger than 5. So I have to borrow or regroup. The 2 becomes a 1, the 5 becomes a 15. Why? Because I borrowed a 10 and I put it with the 5 and now it's 15. 15 minus 7 is 8. I cannot take 4 from 1. Now I'm in the tens place. There's more on the floor, so I have to go next door again to the hundreds and make 10 more. So I cross out the 6, make a 5, and now I'm going to put 10 with 1, and I have 11. 11 minus 4 is 7, and 5 minus 2 is 3. So your answer is there are 378 more ears of corn than there are of tomatoes. More ears of, I'll zoom out a little bit more, corn, just so I can fit it. There are 378 more ears of corn. Again, if I'm going too fast, pause the video so you can fill in the answer and then just hit play when you're ready. Number 11, remember I told you, in your homework, when there's ever a pencil and they want you to write something, Ms. Harling will always do that one with you. All right, it says, write math. Explain how to subtract 247 and 538, from 538, excuse me. Well, what we have to do is first we have to put the larger number on top. So let's write that. First, put the larger number on top. So let me move it over. I'll zoom in just a little bit and please copy. First, put the larger number on top. So if I'm going to subtract, boys and girls, 538 should go on top and 247 should go underneath it. All right. Now, after we do that, we subtract the ones, then the tens, and then the hundreds. So I'm just going to put that. Then subtract the ones, comma, tens, and hundreds. So you look at each place value, but you must start in the you must start in the ones place. So we subtract the ones, then the tens, and then the hundreds. And then we are done. We could then round our number to the nearest hundred if they asked us to, but that's how we subtract. The largest number goes on top, The smaller number goes underneath it, and we subtract each place value, starting with the ones, then the tens, and then we move to the hundreds. After we subtract, we have our final answer. So let's do it. I'm going to put it here. 538 minus 247. I tried to make those sentences short and sweet for you. We start in the ones place. There's more on top, so there's no need to stop. 8 minus 7 is 1. Now, when we get to the tens place, we cannot subtract because 4 is larger than 3. So if there's more on the floor, we have to go next door and get 10 more. So we're going to cross out the 5, make a 4, and the 3 now has 10 to go with it. It becomes a 13. 13 minus 4 is 9, and 4 minus 2 is 2. So what did we do? We subtracted each place value one at a time, and we used our rules. More on top, no need to stop. More on the floor, go next door and get 10 more. Or if the numbers are the same, 0 is the game. All right, please copy. I'll leave it there for about 10 seconds, and then I'm moving on to the back of the paper. Okay, my friends, pause the video if I'm going too fast, but I am going to go to the back. Remember, I don't like my videos to be too long because I know you guys are not going to listen. All right, so let's see. Shall I do 1 or 2 on the back? Let's do number 1. On Saturday, 453 people go to a school play. On Sunday, 294 people go to the play. How many more people go to the play on Saturday? There's those three words again. How many more? That means you must subtract. So 453 is the larger number. When we're subtracting, the larger number goes on top. That's how many people went to the play on Saturday. 294 people went to the play on Sunday. So now let's start in the ones place. More on the floor. We have to go next door and get 10 more because 4 is greater than 3. I cross out the 5, make a 4. My 3 becomes a 13. 13 minus 4 is 9. I cannot take 9 from 4, so I have to now go to the hundreds. Cross it out, make a 3, add 10 to 4, and now you're at 14. 14 minus 9 is 5, and 3 minus 2 is 1. So 159 people more went on Saturday than they did Sunday. All right, let's go to the spiral review in the middle of the page, number 3 and 4. Let's see, which one shall I do? All right, number 4. Okay, let's do number 4. Number 4 says, an airplane flies 617 miles in the morning, then it flies 385 miles in the afternoon. About how many more miles does the airplane fly in the morning? So now they've got another word added here. It says about. About means to estimate. So I'm just going to circle that part. And then we know how many more means to subtract. So we're going to put the largest number on top, 617 miles. That's what they flew in the morning. And then 385 miles. That's what they flew in the afternoon. That's the smaller number. So we're going to put that underneath. And now let's subtract. More on top, no need to stop. 7 minus 5 is 2. In the tens place, I cannot take 8 from 1, so I have to go next door and get 10 more. 6 becomes 5, and 1 becomes 11. 11 minus 8 is 3, and 5 minus 3 is 2. Now, it says about, so they don't want the actual number. They want an estimate. So if I round 232 to the nearest 100, again, 3 is a low number, so am I going to stay at 200 or go to 300? I'm going to stay at 200 because the number 3 is a low number. Okay, let's see. At the bottom, let me do number 5 because we've never talked about that. It says, what is the unknown number? Well, something plus 4 plus 59 is 70. How are we going to figure this out? Well, we're going to look at the two numbers they gave us, and we're going to add those together. 59 plus 4 is 63. But I need to get to this answer, 70. If I'm at 63, how many more do I need to get to 70? Well, I could subtract 70 minus 63. I cannot take 3 from 0, so I borrow. This becomes a 10, and 10 minus 3 is 7. Your final answer is 7, because if I add 63 and 7, I will be at 70. So the three numbers that needed to be added together are 7, 4, 59, and that equals 70. Okay, I went over my 15 minutes. I try to stay at 15 minutes, but I'm a little over, so I'm stopping. You don't really have that much more to do because I did quite a few problems with you. I hope you watched the video. I will see you tomorrow. Remember, open house is tomorrow evening from 6 to 7. Ms. Harling will be online to talk to your parents. If you want to be there too, that's fine. See you tomorrow. Bye.